Hello War of the Visions fans, I'm Jackie Fox, and in this video I would like to explain to you what I mean by war economics, because I plan to do a series of videos on this in the near future, and I would like to have a video to point back to that's just a simple explanation of what this concept is and why you should understand it. This is something that I came up with within the last week after doing my series on complexity. And as a counterpoint to complexity, the war economics theory is meant to strip away a lot of the complexity and make the game perhaps easier to understand, but also to give you some actionable ways to improve the efficiencies of your teams in ways that are really going to impact the outcomes of a variety of fights. War economics is meant to be a simplified version of how you look at the game of War of the Visions that reduces a lot of the elements of complexity, especially in offense and defense. Instead, considering your characters as being like three factories in an RTS that are producing advantage as they go about the fight. And the means through which they produce this advantage are through various economies, being HP and AP, probably most importantly, but also CT and evasion or accuracy, which is also kind of tied to the CT economy in a number of ways. If you're winning or really pushing a wedge between yourself and the opposing team in these areas, you're bound to be doing good. If you have more HP, then you're clearly winning. If you have more AP, you're doing more damage, clearly winning. And if you're getting more turns, you're doing more things, and that's also winning. Another thing worth noting about war economics is that it's not entirely a positive game. In fact, it's more about driving a wedge between your economy and your opponents. So anything that you can do to weaken their economy in a certain way can be beneficial to driving that wedge between your economy and theirs. Renoa's recent LB upgrades were a perfect example of this. As a character, she can both heal and increase your speed on the same skill, which means that she has benefits both for your CT and HP economy. But with her LB upgrade, she also has the ability to dispel and nullify haste for opponents, as well as potentially dispelling their regen as well, while also being able to poison them. This has negative effects that are going to hold back their CT and HP economy, which means that the boost that she gives you will be further amplified by the fact that she's going to be holding back your opponents as well. The downside to this is also its simplicity, in that it disregards a lot of those complex viewpoints and ways of understanding the game. And often, the idea of economy as I'm going to be presenting it over the next couple of videos excludes things that are probably going to be considered super hype factors for a number of future units. So in a way you could say that the idea of war economy has a big blind spot, but that blind spot is also intentional, because looking at those sorts of hype new mechanics, the newest way to increase your damage or the newest way to reduce it, those are always really important and really well explained by the community and typically pretty well understood. It's these more fundamental aspects that are less specific and affect every match that you go into a little bit more equally than other things that I've discussed in recent videos that I think give us a more predictable foundation to build our assumptions about characters based on. It is not the end-all be-all of War of the Visions philosophical viewpoints, but I think in a world where no one is looking at it from this perspective, it becomes incredibly valuable to at least consider how a unit or how a piece of equipment affects the economy of the fight and how that will change the outcome. Because I guarantee you, if you're doing better on HP, AP, and CT, you will win, almost regardless of other things that happen. So with all that being said, thank you for watching, and remember that the free-to-play option for YouTube is to like, subscribe, and leave me juicy, precious comments down there below the description box, which is also going to contain links to the rest of the Jackie Fox media empire through the Yggdrasil that is Linktree. That will lead you to my main YouTube channel as well as my podcast. Also, recently I found out that my main YouTube channel after several years, has regained its ability to chapter content, which is really helpful when you make long and in-depth videos like I do. So yay for my channel. But also there's ways to donate to the channel, maybe send me some money for polls, maybe send me some money for dinner. That's up to you. I'll take it either way through something like Coffee or Patreon. But also you could help contribute to my income by buying my books. I am a fiction writer after all, and at least a certain part of why I provide this free commentary to an audience like Final Fantasy War of the Visions is that, well, you already like fantasy stories, so maybe you'll like my work too. And maybe by getting myself in front of enough of you, I'll develop a fan base, a nice, loyal set of people who are willing to read my books and engage with me on the worlds therein, which is like my inner nerd is super happy about. But I've got to build that future, and this is where it starts. So click that link in the description to be a part of that. Also, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the potentially explosive and War of the Vision strategy redefining take that are going to come from war economics. Hopefully this makes the game easier to understand, and also I would hope that the war economics perspective also provides a good entry point for newer players to understand the game as they begin to slowly encounter and begin to understand all of the other complex elements that make this game what it is. So with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.